Alright.
Oh no.
The terror has surfaced. Welcome to IP Suffer.
I mean, kinda, I guess.
This one at least makes sense with
More sense.
Yeah.
it being a shark movie. I like
Oh.
that Shark Attack 2 is just the killer is back.
I'll say Shark Attack and Shark Attack 2 are both very silly and fun, but not nearly as ridiculous as
But
this.
but can we talk about how Shark Attack, the first one's tagline is "The world's deadliest predator
The
just
world's
got
deadliest
angry."
predator.
Banger of a movie.
It rocks so hard.
I know one
I love it.
person that does not agree because I saw their letterbox score.
This movie was so stupid.
Yeah, that's why it rocks, Katie.
Well, so I will tell you my problems with it. The literal spoilers right now.
Hold
The
on, hold
literal
on, hold
only
on,
thing.
hold on a second. This is episode 209 of IP Suffer.
Oh.
My name is Megalodon.
I'm Megalo Dave.
um. Um. I'm
Megalodon.
baby Megalodon.
All right, baby Megalodon. Do. We are
Oh,
talking about
man.
Shark Attack 3 Megalodon from 2002. Katie, what's your problems? Well, you guess there'll be problems.
Her
A lot.
issue is that
I
it's
know.
perfect.
I always have problems.
It's too good of a film.
That's true.
What? Okay. The only thing that saved this movie from me, of being just like absolutely unbearable is
What?
when the Megalodon starts eating things whole, because it was probably one of the greatest things I've ever seen. But up until that part, it was like
A
so
delight.
stupid. I don't understand what's going on. Okay, I'm assuming it's because they are filming this like out on the water and out on the beach, that they didn't boom it and it's like voiceovered, but it's done not great. And most of the movie was the dudes just standing around and having like a laugh about some stupid thing they just said. And I
Katie,
can't stand
they had $40. That's the whole
So
budget.
I'm gonna say y'all should have watched this like I did, where you don't pay attention to the first 40 minutes because
Yeah.
you're trying to get your new
Yeah.
phone activated, and then you just
I
hear
agree.
why don't I just take you home and eat your pussy, and then you're just like, oh wait, I forgot this movie's on, and then you start paying attention.
There really is a turning point, though.
The fucking line, I was dying.
Incredible.
Okay, also because the way it was delivered, this guy is
John
what's his name?
Barrowman.
Barrowman, yeah.
Or
So like the
yeah,
entire
something like that.
movie, John Barrowman.
Yeah,
The entire movie, he's got his like signature nice guy like smile. He's like finger guns, and he's like, "Hey, how's it going? I love life." And it was really so like the way that he delivered that line was so casual, because they're like literally getting ready to like fight a prehistoric creature, and she was like, "Oh man, I'm so exhausted," and he's just like, "Hey, me too, by the way," and he just like delivers the line like that, and then it just like cuts to them like doing it in the shower, and I was like, what is happening here?
It's so funny
Perfect.
because
Perfect film.
everything I've ever seen him in, he's always written as this like swaggy like ladies man, but he is super gay in real life. Like,
Oh,
because
I didn't know that.
I knew him from like Doctor Who and all that shit, because Crystal used to watch was like into Doctor Who, and he was like a spin-off character. I think he was in the Arrow TV show or something at some point, maybe. But
I was gonna say he was definitely a villain in. I couldn't remember if it was Arrow or Legends, but he was like a bad guy.
Yeah, he was in one of them. I just get Malcolm Merlin in the Arrowverse. What is?
Yeah.
Can't remember who that character was. Oh, got some sexual misconduct allegations, so that's not good.
Ooh.
Yikes.
Kind of. I don't know. Yeah.
But either way, yeah, like about halfway through this movie, I was like, all right, this rocks. But well, I guess it's also kind of like how a lot of the sci-fi stuff is like that, where it's like, this is.
I think enough happens throughout that first hour to keep it at least entertaining. It's enough, like,
yeah, I was
suspect shark attacks. Like,
I was never like this. This was infinitely better, especially coming off last week's movie. So.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Also, the main bad guy is so bad that anytime he's on screen, it's incredible.
Yeah, I also really like that they just, like, for, like, some of the shark attacks, they literally just took, like, grainy old Discovery Channel footage of, like, a shark with blood in the water and just, like, spliced it in there. I was like, okay, great.
So, like, 80% of all of the shark footage in this film is just, like, stock footage of a shark. And then there's, like, maybe 10% of an actual physical puppet, and the other 10% is horrible CG.
I mean, the good thing is the fourth movie we're going to do, all of the footage is just stolen from Jaws and Jaws 2 and Jaws 3. And
Jaws 5.
I think The Last Shark. So it's all, like, insane.
Different levels of quality, I assume.
Different levels of quality, but at some point, I think in one of the movies they steal from, it's like a tiger shark and not a fucking great white.
I can't wait.
That's one of my favorite cuts in this movie. We'll get to where the Megalodon attacks another shark, and then the footage they use is clearly not a shark.
Yeah. Then they'd say that that's a tiger shark, and he's like looking at a prop shark, and I'm like, that doesn't even look like a tiger shark.
I love it when these movies they're just like, the audience is fucking dumb. Who cares?
Yeah, nobody knows anything about sharks. Let's just do whatever we want.
Just do it fast enough. No one will notice.
Well, like
pretty much, yeah.
I get, like, you know, back in the day, you know,
yeah.
like, it's like, it was never expected that you'd be able to just, like, watch this shit, like, in high def.
On demand.
And fucking, like, you know, yeah, like, whatever you wanted. So, they just, like, weren't paying attention, but people making this shit now, I'm like, you should, like, just put in some effort.
Yeah. At least use the right shark names.
At least show, like, a gray shark instead of, like, a fucking, you know, brownish tiger shark or whatever when it's supposed to be a great white. It might as well just be, like, showing a fucking hammerhead shark.
Right.
Alright, well,
it was pretty funny because Chris was, like, watching over my shoulder a little bit, and he was just like, is this from the early 2000s? And I was like, yep, you nailed it.
Like, Katie, not really a fan. Kit,
no.
Obviously a fan.
Honestly, no.
I enjoyed it. Like I said, like, I've had a fucking week. So by the time I had to watch this, like, this morning after, like, getting off work and going to vote, and I'm trying to get my new fucking cell phone in, like, activated and shit, so I missed like the first half of it. But second half rocks. Just I texted y'all where I was just like, I don't know what's going on, but like I remember one point someone got bit in the torso by this shark, and now all of a sudden it can swallow a boat. So I don't know what's going on with this size disparity.
It was a baby, and it grew up over the course of a day.
I assumed that like that was the idea, is that it just was like growing, but I was like, if this is a megalodon and it's just like around still, shouldn't it be huge the whole time? But I'm not gonna ask questions.
I don't know.
I thought.
Did they explain how it was a baby one?
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
So we'll get there. Maybe I am misinterpreted the information, but we'll see. So this movie starts underwater, like most shark movies.
That's where a lot of movies start.
Yeah, there's a bunch of guys doing some like underwater type business. And we find out that we're in the Pacific Ocean at something called the Challenger Deep Trench. No thank you, immediately. And basically there is an old guy with glasses who is mad about how long whatever the job is that they're doing is taking. And he's inside a submarine or a boat or something. And there's a guy down there like in his scuba stuff, like I don't know what he's doing, like repairing a pipe with a torch or something like that. And the people who are in the submarine or on the boat or whatever are looking on the radar, and they're seeing something like huge, like coming towards him. And they're like basically just like, what's going on? Like there shouldn't be anything this big down here. And I'm like, absolutely there is. If there's big stuff, it's going to come from the trench. You know what I'm saying? That's why the trench is there. Literally. And so they're just like, what's going on? They're like trying to call the guy, and they're like, there's something coming up behind you. And he's like, what's going on? Hey guys, I'm here. He just like going about his job. And they're basically like counting down the time that whatever the thing is on the radar is going to get to him. And it's a shark, and it comes and it gets him. So now, for whatever reason, we're at 6 months later, and we're in Mexico, and there's like basically credits over top of like resort, like people at a resort. This is where we meet our main character Ben, who is getting coffee. And he is bringing it to his partner. They are like water patrolmen for the resort, and so like he brings a coffee for his partner, and then his partner's like, haha, and this is for you, and gives him a Coke, and then they like stand there and laugh together. And I was like, what's funny about that? I don't know. They're just like,
you just don't understand humor.
Yeah, you wouldn't get it.
I guess, yeah, I don't. Must be patrol humor. So they get in their little boat. They patrol around the water around the resort, essentially. Okay. Onto like a also equal. All of the scenes in this movie mostly revolve around like people being inappropriate in places, because immediately we cut to this like old guy who is trying to fish off of a boat. He's trying to catch a swordfish, and he's like really, really struggling to like reel the swordfish in, because swordfish weigh like 500 pounds or whatever. Meanwhile, like I don't even know who these people are. There's like a couple on the boat that are like literally like doing it right behind him, and I was like, what is going on here? And so the other guy is just the guy who's like making out or whatever is like, oh, like keep trying. Sometimes it could take you a really long time to like reel in these fish or whatever. And so essentially what happens is that the shark, let's call them Lil Maggie. Lil Maggie comes and basically eats the whole body of the swordfish, so that when the fisherman finally like reels in the swordfish, it's just the head, which
just the sword. That's all you need.
Yeah, it's
right?
the best
Isn't that
part.
why you're getting it?
All sword and no fish.
Okay. Ben decides randomly that he's going to go what I think is lobstering, like lobster diving in the middle of like their work day, and his partner is kind of like, I don't think that's a good idea, and he's like, don't worry about it. So he goes down there, and I couldn't tell what was happening at first, but he basically finds this cable, which is what we saw in the beginning. It's like this huge cable, and he pulls a tooth out of it. There's a jump scare with like some guy scuba diving behind him, and he comes up to the surface, and basically there was like bite marks into the cable so that the cable was frayed, and then he found the tooth in it, and the guys are just like, hey, this is high-tech stuff, go away, don't come near our cable. And he was just like, okay, well, like I found the shark tooth, like there's probably a shark problem, and they're just like, whatever. And then they part ways. Later, Ben, this is probably my favorite part of this stupid movie, because Ben goes online to do an internet search for shark teeth, and he searches shark teeth, and basically what comes up is supposed to be, I guess, the internet, but it's like very clear that it's just like a Word document that somebody like wrote tiger shark or whatever, and then put a picture of like a shark tooth next to it or whatever in like boxes. That's what it is, but it's supposed to be like a website or whatever. And so it's basically like a forum, so he's going to post a picture of the shark tooth that he takes with a digital camera, and then for some reason when the photo uploads, it's just the shark tooth without his hand, even though he's holding it in front of the camera, and it's like an exhibit picture of the shark tooth. And I was like, what in the early 2000s fuck is going on here?
Was this the Sci-Fi Channel movie, Kit? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I don't think it was.
I'm sure it's probably aired on it, but...
Oh yeah, it aired on it a bunch, but I don't think it was an original.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it to me, but...
Doesn't seem to have the quality...
I said the effects are too good.
The production... I was going to say it's not up to standards for sci-fi.
So he has the picture, and then he just posts mystery shark tooth, ? Essentially. So now we're at a museum, and a security guard scares Dr. Stone, and she is working at this like museum. She goes on the internet and sees Ben's post about the tooth, and is like, oh my god.
I know that tooth.
The next morning, Ben goes to see his boss, Mr. Ruiz, who introduces him to the CEO of a company called Apex Communication, and they're basically the ones that own the underwater cable, and he's like asking him about the bite in the cable or whatever, and then Ben says, sharks are always biting things.
That's true.
Can we talk about how the goofs on IMDb, like the one that's highlighted when you go to like the main page for this movie, is the goofs, sharks do not roar.
That's not just this movie. Common misconception, apparently.
Also,
the sound effects in this one were pretty good.
Apparently, the I'm really wired, what do you say I take you home and eat your pussy line was improv, which is like ad-libbed on the spot to like try to make the actors laugh, and like she just has like zero fucking response. And apparently like the edited version is like, what do you say I take you home and watch I Love Lucy?
I'll say the version I unfortunately watched on Tubi, when I got to that part, he goes, what do you say we go back to my place and I eat your, and then it just like, you can still hear him say pussy, but it's like way quieter, so you can like barely hear him say it. And then it just like fades to black and goes to the next scene and skips the shower sex scene.
I was like, wow,
I was
take
devastated.
you home and eat your crackers.
Wow. Yeah, I
Right.
unfortunately watched the unedited version and totally missed the scene, which was the whole reason that I watched it in the first place. So there's a whole extra minute of raunchiness to be had if anyone wants to watch it.
Watch for the hour and 34-minute version, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
You don't want to miss out.
If you watch this on Tubi, one's rated R, one's rated PG, and I think you can figure out which is the better version to watch.
Well, I didn't notice, and I was very surprised at some of the things that I saw, which is why I wasn't thinking it was a sci-fi movie, but I don't know. Yeah, sharks are always biting things. And so essentially Ben is basically just like, I wouldn't worry about it. Like, I don't know, maybe the shark just didn't know what it was. It's totally fine. And the guy is like, okay, I believe you. And I was like, why are you even talking to him? He's like a patrolman, not like a fucking underwater creature expert. I don't know. Now we skip to a couple making out on the beach, and they decide to go skinny dipping, and there's some graphic under the water things going on, if you know what I mean. And the shark comes.
Lots of sharks eating tubes.
Yep. The shark comes and.
That is graphic.
Get something like off of the coast, or get something like attacks, and like at first you think it's the couple, but then you realize it's just attacking something else that's like close to them. And this is where you find out that it's supposed to be a tiger shark, but it's
liger shark.
I just don't think
any
the
kind of tiger
people
shark
that
I've
make
ever
these
seen.
movies know that there's a difference between sharks. I think they just think a shark is like just
Shark's a shark.
Only like a one of a kind creature that doesn't have other.
They just kind of morph.
Like no breeds.
Yeah.
He also calls it a sand tiger shark, which
very different.
Yeah, they don't look like. Oh, they're pretty scary looking.
Yes.
If you ask me. So the people call the whatever. So Ben and his partner show up to check out the dead shark, and like aren't really concerned about what happened to it at all, to be honest. Dr. Stone shows up and is just like, so she's like walking up the beach and she's like, I'm looking for Ben, whatever his last name is, and there's like a random person on the beach that knows him and is like, oh, he's right over there. So she walks up to him and says, I saw your message on the internet. Which made me laugh so hard. So she basically like introduces herself. She says that she works for an aquarium, which we know is a lie. And she's basically trying to like downplay the situation. She's like, oh yeah, this shark is just a subspecies of mako shark. Mako, I don't remember how to say it. Mako shark. And basically they're just like flirting with each other. And so he ends up giving her the location of like where the shark bit the cable or whatever, so she can go like investigate it. She also pays no attention to the fact that he's standing in front of a dead shark, doesn't care. She immediately calls somebody and and she says like, oh, don't worry, this shark is no more dangerous than a regular mako shark, which aren't those the ones that are like the fastest sharks in the world? So that seems pretty dangerous to me. Just saying.
Not if you can swim faster.
I don't think you can, though.
I probably could.
Is the thing.
Mako stands no chance.
Okay. I believe in you, Kit. Okay, so
I'm
she
Googling their
immediately
speed.
calls... Okay.
31 miles an hour. Slow ass. I could easily go 32 or higher.
Smoke them. Running or swimming?
Either.
Okay.
Both.
Well,
at the same time.
Either or both. You can do a triathlon against the shark. I think you'll win with the bike because I don't think they can pedal a bike, but I could be
They've
wrong.
been down there training this whole time, learning how to ride bikes.
Okay, so she immediately calls somebody and is basically just like telling them to get a film crew down there because she's also acting like a little suspicious at this point, the way that she's talking. So I was like not sure about her. Now there's two people who are at some kind of like concert and they climb over a fence and are like making out and shit. They fall down. It is nighttime. They fall down a water slide and we get some water slide vision for a while, which
sick.
And apparently the water slide feeds into the ocean because they go into the water at night. It's very dark. And the shark comes and literally crunches them. And I can't imagine anything scarier than, first of all, getting on a water slide and it dumping you into the ocean, but especially at nighttime.
Horrific.
Like deep enough
Absolutely.
water.
Could not pay me enough.
That a shark is coming. I had no words. I felt like anxiety watching the scene. I hated it.
Made me want to die. Which
Yeah.
I would do if I went down a water slide into the ocean in the middle of the night.
I will see it in my nightmares. But again, the sound effects here are very crunchy, so they get crunched. Meanwhile, at Apex. Oh, okay. So the other part of this movie that I thought was very funny is these two, like IT guys who work for Apex, and every time something goes wrong with like the cable, this like alarm goes off, and it's like very alarming. I can't think of another word because it's like
that's good. That's a good alarm.
And there's
I would
like
hope my alarm is
flashing.
alarming.
Well, yeah, it's like very like it's a lot.
It's Sandstorm.
But they're just like oh my god. Like essentially, yeah. And so they're basically just like, oh man, that's weird, something happened. And so the CEO guy calls them and is like what the fuck is going on? Because like the phone's ringing off the hook every single time, and the one guy's like, you want to answer that? And the other guy's like, not really. And then he just like sits there for a little bit, and then he answers, and the CEO guy calls and is like, what the fuck? The guy says some stuff about electricity and surges and stuff that I do not understand at all, but I don't know. And so then he hangs up and he says, assholes are never happy. So
I guess that's true.
yeah. Okay, so now we meet Chuck, who I think we actually met in the beginning, but I didn't actually like know who he was. And basically the Apex people are like sending Chuck down underwater to like check out what's going on with the fiber cable or whatever. And Ben basically is friends with him and is like, hey, by the way, like I found a shark tooth. I think a shark like bit this cable or whatever. And he's like, okay. Dr. Stone arrives at the beach with two camera guys who are just filthy people. And they get on a boat and search for the shark a little bit. They chum the water to get the shark to come. Ben like sees them doing this like from his boat. So everyone is just kind of like chilling, waiting for the shark to show up, which he does. Little Maggie starts slamming into the boat, and they basically like clip a rope onto the camera guy so that he can stand on like the back of the boat, but like, so you have the back of the boat, and then it's like where the motor is, there's like that little deck that you can stand on, but it's like in the water or like right on top of the water. And he gets on it and is just like, which to me seems, again, could not pay me enough. He stands on the back of the boat and like films the shark, and it comes up and like lunges for him. They pull him to safety, but it bites the deck and leaves another tooth, which Dr. Stone uses to like be like, yeah, this is definitely our shark. Again, like up until this point, we don't really know anything about what's going on, but this shark is like pretty small. It's like a normal sized, like great white, I would say, compared to like what you would assume would be a megalodon.
This is why I was so confused when like all of a sudden I like look up and this thing is eating a boat, like swallowing a boat whole.
Yeah, so basically they put a tracker on the shark, which is, so they can tell where it is, but also there is a camera. Meanwhile, a guy plays frisbee on the beach with his dog, and he throws the frisbee out into the water, but the dog won't go get it, which is great. And so he has to go in to get the frisbee, and then he gets eaten by Lil Meggie. Then, following this, Ben goes to Dr. Stone's hotel to tell her that there's been another shark attack. Again, could not care less that people are getting eaten by sharks at this point. He's just like, there's been another attack, and she's like, oh, come in. I'm trying to stop smoking. And I was like, what the fuck?
I will say, I am slightly over like this trope in all of these movies of just like whoever runs whatever, like the mayor or fucking somebody doing business with the fucking like in the ocean, like whatever, just being like, I don't give a shit. Like Jaws already did it. Jaws did it better. You have the coolest mayor of all time in Jaws. Like, let's move past this fucking thing and just let it be the Jaws thing.
I'm gonna say it's an essential part of the films because government fucking sucks.
The only one I give a pass to is Jersey Shore Shark Attack.
So he goes to tell her that there's been a shark attack, and this is where he finds out that she's not actually from the aquarium. She is from a museum, and she tells him that the shark is not a mako shark. It is a megalodon, but it is only 15 feet because it is just a little baby. And
still ate
basically
they
kind of argue about like, he's basically just like, I'm gonna kill it. It's killing people. Can't have a shark killing people in my waters and whatever. And she's like, no, this is like a scientific discovery. Can you imagine all the things that we can find out by studying this, blah, 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 whatever. And he gets mad and leaves. The next morning, she comes to his little boat and invites him to come on with her because she tells him that she's got the tracking device, and he agrees. So she also tells him that it is thought that Megalodon survived, like, all of the Ice Age and all of that stuff that happened by just swimming into really deep water, which, fair. I believe it.
I'm gonna survive.
Then they watch
I don't want to survive, so I won't do that.
Yeah. I'll go the opposite. I'll swim into space.
I'm going higher.
Can you take me higher?
Oh boy.
Oh man. Okay. Okay. So they watch the shark cam and basically figure out that the shark is heading east, which is, Ben freaks out because that means that the shark is heading towards the resort. And he's like, full boaters ahead, or some shit. And full throttle. I think that's the term. Full throttle ahead.
Charlie's Angels.
So So they speed away. They find baby Maggie, and Ben calls the lifeguard station and tells the lifeguard to get everybody out of the water. And the lifeguard immediately is like, "Shark, shark, get out! There's a shark out of water!" And people are just like chilling still. Like, okay. And then, so they see the shark, and the shark is just like swimming around, and then Ben tries to shoot it like with a handgun, and I can't imagine any universe where that would work, but
Planet handgun.
Okay, that's fair.
People are just living handguns. It would work.
That's true. Would the shark also be a gun though?
No, it's still just a normal shark. It's a very weird world.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Dr. Stone doesn't obviously want Ben to shoot the shark, so she swings the boat around and cuts the shark off from swimming up to the resort, and so the shark turns around and starts heading into open water right towards a boat where somebody is, I could not remember the term for this, and I said wind sailing, but I don't think that's correct. It's where you're on a person-sized hot air balloon, but you're being pulled behind a boat.
Parasailing.
Yeah.
Parasailing. Okay, there you go. There's a person parasailing off of the back of this boat. And so the shark makes a beeline for them, obviously, starts ramming into the boat. One of the guys falls out of the boat and is eaten. Then it cuts to... Wait, then it gets... So the guy falls in and the shark eats him. Then the shark comes around and bites the cable that is attached to the lady who is parasailing and rips it off the boat, I guess, and just starts swimming away with her. And the whole time,
so
the people Ben and all them are screaming oh my god, and she's screaming, help me. Okay, aside from sliding down a slide into the night ocean, parasailing above the ocean, and then having a shark grab your rope and pull you into the water, I don't know what I think is worse. Maybe the parasailing, just because she could see it coming.
Yeah, I mean, the shark's got a hold of a rope, so there's not a good way for it to end, I think.
Wouldn't the rope just, break? Because shark have sharp teeth?
Not if the shark has, a xenomorph tongue.
I assume that
Doesn't
the
xenomorph
rope
tongue have sharp
are
teeth,
too?
Maybe it lost them all.
Yeah, it's probably not great dental care in the ocean.
It's so young, it's gumming.
Honestly, I think the rope is probably heavy duty enough that maybe it wouldn't, but also couldn't she unclip herself and then
just parachute down
back to the, or get back to the shore or farther away from the shark? I don't know. Either way, the shark grabs onto the rope and is literally pulling, swims straight down into the ocean and is pulling her down. Everyone's screaming. And the boat that Ben is on stops to help the other dude that's in the boat or whatever, and they save him. And the lady is screaming. She gets pulled down into the water. She's struggling up at the top, right? Dr. Stone tries to pull her out, but they just can't make it work, and the shark ends up eating her anyway. And Dr. Stone finally is upset about what's happening. She falls to pieces at this point. Ben goes to talk to his boss, Mr. Ruiz, who yells at him. This conversation that they have is unhinged on both sides. They're just yelling at each other, but they're not responding to what each other is saying. And I just couldn't figure out what was happening, because Ben's making it seem like it was Ruiz's fault, And then he's like, you need to close the, it's that typical thing where he's like, you need to close the beaches. And then he's just like, well, I don't know, I'll retire. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? It just didn't make any sense. But essentially, like, what ends up happening is that Ben says that he will kill the shark, just, like, do what you can to, like, keep people out of the water or whatever. And he's like, people pay good money to be here. He doesn't sound like that, but he's like, people pay good money to be here and use all the amenities, including the ocean. But I'm sure if you were like, hey, by the way, there's this huge deadly shark swimming around the water, I think that they would understand, right? Like, I don't know. I don't know.
Not based on every shark movie I've ever seen, they wouldn't.
I mean, I guess, but like at that point, that's kind of like your prerogative if you're going to still go swimming anyways. So.
Fair.
I'm sure somebody would complain, like, I stayed at this resort and this beach had a shark in it. Yeah. Okay. Ben comforts Dr. Stone because she's, like, crying, and she's like, everything was all my fault because I didn't tell you what was going on. And I was like, I mean, fair. It's true. Ben asks why the shark is obsessed with the cable, and I don't understand any of this electric leaking into the ocean stuff that they're talking about at all. But essentially,
electric oil.
They're like, essentially, they're just like, I don't know. It has to do with like electromagnetic stuff. So they're gonna find out like what's going on or what's inside or what's going through the cables or whatever by asking Chuck, because thankfully Chuck works for that company, I guess. And basically they're again talking about how the electromagnetic stuff like lured, because the cables are laying near the trenches, which is a real thing, that the shark was like lured out of the trench because of whatever's happening there. And so Chuck says he's going to find out because he's going to hack the computers. And then they all laugh. Like, when I say everyone stands there and laughs, it's like literally like the end of a Scooby-Doo episode where they're like, you darn kids, and then everyone's like, ha 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 ha. Like, that's what happens throughout this movie, just like not really provoked at all. It's very strange. So yeah, they laugh that Chuck is going to go hack the computers. And then Ben and Dr. Stone, Ben's like, we could use all the help we could get. And they go to a church and pray.
Yeah.
So, okay, so they all go back out on the boat again while Chuck sits in his office where he's got like a portrait of George Bush behind him, an American flag, and he hacks the Apex computers. He basically finds out that there's been a power bleed. Again, I have no concept of what that is or anything. But he basically like realizes that the company knew it was happening the whole time and just didn't do anything about it, and there had been other shark attacks because of it. So he goes to the office of the CEO and like yells at him, is like, "You son of a bitch, you're not gonna get away with this," and whatever. And the guy's just like, "Yeah, yes I am," and like gets him kicked out essentially.
like
Ben and
yes I am, and then just like walks out.
I mean, so Ben and everybody else locate the shark, and the shark immediately comes and starts slamming into the boat, like their boat. One of the guys, like the camera guy, falls over and gets knocked out. Here's my thing. Everyone's standing on the boat, and the shark comes and rams into it, and they all fall. But then they continue to stand up every single time, and I'm like, just stay down. This goes on for so long of them being like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I'm like, oh my God, he's going to keep doing it. So that guy
People
gets
just love
out.
to be standing.
Disagree. Standing's
Ben
the worst.
Is like yelling at the guy that got knocked out and is like, don't do this. And I was like, I don't think you can really control whether you're knocked out or not, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. So he's yelling, Meanwhile, Dr. Stone is going to go down into the cabin to retrieve a shotgun. She finds that it is flooded, from Lil Maggie slamming into it and making holes and stuff. There's also, like, electricity crackling above. And I was like, this seems like a really bad idea to go down there, but she does. This is where the movie turned around for me a little bit. This is where it starts getting good, because she goes to get the shotgun and she's like loading it or whatever, and the shark literally just busts through the entire cabin and is like, nah, and she's like screaming and shit. She drops the gun. It's absolute chaos, because the way that they cut between so the puppet obviously is not interacting with anybody, so there's like cut jump shots between like her screaming, the shark puppet going like and like flopping around, right? And it's like impossible to tell what's going on. But Ben ends up hearing her screaming and comes downstairs, and then starts like hitting the shark with a stick a bunch and kicking him. And he's like, ah, get out of here.
Shark's main weakness, big stick.
Big sticks. And then Dr. Stone gropes around in the water, finds the shotgun, and then she says, "You're extinct, fuckers," and she shoots it in the head. Like, she shoots the baby shark in the head. The baby shark's dead.
Mean.
And then she's sad about it. So the other shark that shows up is not the same shark. It is like a normal-sized parent Megalodon, I assume, but they literally never acknowledge that it is a different shark and that the shark is dead now. Like, you see the shark's brain splatter against the wall. So, like, it's absolutely dead. So I don't actually really know if that explains why it's a different shark, because they don't acknowledge it.
I'm
but
pretty sure
it's fine.
Sharks can live without brains.
Yeah. I don't think they have
the
brains at all, to be honest.
Okay. Well, the shark, to be fair, is missing a gunshot wound to the head. So I think I'm confident to say that it's a different shark. They heal. Super healing. They might. I don't really know anything about prehistoric sharks, to be honest with you. So,
it took a nuclear blast to wipe them out because they heal so good. That's what they're not telling you in school.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
Literally, again, this shark busting through the side of the cabin is where it completely turns around, because this next part caught me so off guard, I almost choked. So they kill R.I.P., pour one out for little baby Meg, the baby Megalodon. Ben and Dr. Stone are like, oh, thank God. She's sad, obviously. She's just killed a scientific specimen. They go up to the top of the boat, and they're like, oh, thank God we're alive, but the boat's sinking because it's taking in water. They look up, they see Ben's partner coming in their patrol boat, and they do this thing that I absolutely hate in movies, where they're like, over here, we're over here. He can see them. He's got the boat aimed right at them. He's waving. He's like, hey, I'm here. And they're like, over here. We're right here. We're here. And I was like, he fucking knows. Drives me crazy. And as soon as he approaches them, he just gets completely swallowed, boat and all, one single gulp, completely swallowed by another megalodon. By a normal-sized megalodon.
By the same brainless megalodon.
Just completely that's it. Done.
That's how I want to go out.
Every single time it happens from now on, it's just the best. This is the
incredible.
Last 20 minutes of the movie.
It's so funny.
Hold on, I need to go back. Kit, do you want to go out being swallowed or swallowing a shark?
Oh man, both. So I'm swallowing the shark while a different shark is swallowing me, swallowing the shark.
There you go.
That's a good idea.
It's
I like
Kit
that.
and sharks all the way down. Yeah, goodbye. R.I.P. partner. Swallowed boat and all. Do you think you die immediately, or do you just like suffocate if you're swallowed whole by an animal?
I don't think it would be immediately, but I think it would be probably pretty quick.
I think you live in there for like 20 years, and you can feast on all the other fish that he eats.
Yeah.
What if it's real nice and cozy and just like free place to live, and you just get free food?
That's what I'm saying. Like a megalodon is probably the size or bigger of a whale, right? Or
There's
no?
like a small village in there already that is welcome you in.
Yeah, because I would imagine if it was like something smaller, like a great white, and you were like, it would like, you would fit inside it like it was a like a sleeping bag. Probably not super comfortable, but as big as a megalodon, I feel like it'd probably be pretty roomy. I don't know.
Very spacious.
So, yeah. He swallowed. Then that shark starts bumping into the boat, and they all fall into the water. The boat capsizes, and Dr. Stone and Ben manage to swim over and like get on the bottom of the boat, and then they see the two camera guys, and they're like, "Hey, we're here, we made it." They are also immediately swallowed whole together by the megalodon. Amazing. And they're like, "Oh no." Ben swims under the water to get the first aid kit because it's got a flare in it, and he shoots off a flare that gets a nearby helicopter's attention. Ben finds a huge megalodon tooth in the side of the boat and pockets it for proof. While the helicopter drops a ladder for them, they are climbing the ladder and like dangling because she loses her grip or something, and he's got to like hold on to her or some shit like that. And the megalodon like leaps in the air and is like and like tries to bite at him, but it misses, and they get in the helicopter and they're fine. Ben again goes back to Mr. Ruiz and is like mad and yelling at him for I'm not really sure why at this point, but he basically shows him the huge tooth and is like, "We have to tell the press about like the big shark." And then of course Mr. Ruiz is like, "No, absolutely not. We don't want anyone to be mad at our resort for having a huge shark. I'm not going to tell anybody." So Ben quits his job.
How dare you have a huge shark? You pieces of shit.
Listen, like honestly, this scenario, lowest of stakes. Lower than the fucking snake ruining the beer festival or whatever. There's literally nothing going on here that they wouldn't be like, "Oh yeah, there's a giant shark." But anyway. So he quits. Chuck meets up with Dr. Stone and Ben, and basically they have a conversation about how they've like contacted all these people to help, but nobody's gonna help them, so they just gotta do it them damn selves. Chuck says that, "Oh yeah, no problem. I can get a bomb. No questions asked." Great. And they are going to take the submarine down into the water and blow up the cable because something about the cable is not like functioning at full power or something, and they're gonna do it all to full power. And like nobody says this, but what I'm assuming is happening is that the power being on is like luring more megalodons, and so I'm assuming like that's why they want to stop it or whatever. And so they're gonna blow it up, and then they're going to use the electricity to like lure the shark to them, and then they're gonna blow the shark up with a torpedo. Great.
Good plan.
So they need to get a tracker on the shark in order for the torpedoes to target it. And luckily, Dr. Stone is an expert crossbow shooter, so no worries there. She's got us.
In BD.
Oh, I completely skipped. This is a scene I was talking about where basically Chuck was like, "You two get a good night's sleep. See you tomorrow," and he drives off, and then what's his face says the thing, and then they go make out in the shower. Okay, so then I just skipped over it in my notes. I will not be saying it. The next day, Chuck and Ben go down in the submarine, and Dr. Stone is up in a helicopter. The Apex company is hosting a party on a yacht. Gotta have a yacht. And Mr. Ruiz is there with a grenade. So basically, I guess, the reason Ben was mad is because the company was going to host a party on a boat to basically, announce to the shareholders that they've got this cable that's about to be ready or whatever. And I think that's why Ben was mad, is because he wasn't, canceling the yacht party or whatever, but, they don't explicitly say that. So I'm just, inferring all of this. So they're on the yacht. Mr. Ruiz is there and basically talks to the CEO, and it's just don't worry, I have assurance if that thing shows up. And he's got, one grenade. And I was like, all right.
Doing great, pal.
Ben and Chuck are down in the submarine. Ben is using the submarine claw hand to put a huge box of explosives on the underwater pipe thingy. And as that's happening, the CEO guy is giving a presentation about the pipe, and then they blow up the explosive crate or whatever. So we're back at the tech guys. The alarms again. The alarms are going off. The phone's ringing off the hook. The lights are flashing or whatever. And the two IT guys are just smoking weed instead of attending to the alarms, which
smart.
Yeah, honestly.
Mad respect.
They find out. Basically, Ben and everybody find out that that the fancy yacht party thing is still going on, because now the shark is attacking it, and it's ramming into the boat. Everyone's freaking out. The entire time that this movie is going on, that they show Mr. Ruiz, he's got I don't know if it's his girlfriend, or if it's his wife or whatever, but he's got this lady with him that he's always doing PDA to, stroking her leg under the table, or they're holding hands and stroking each other's hands or whatever. As soon as this explosion happens, he's see ya. He I don't know. It's very funny though. So basically, everyone's freaking out on the boat, obviously. Dr. Stone drops the electrical box in the water that is sending out electrical waves to lure the shark away from the boat. She, promised that she was an expert crossbow shooter, but she shoots at it with the tag and she misses. So luckily, Chuck has a spare, and so he's I'll do it. He puts on the scuba diving stuff and goes out into the water to tag it. Mr. Ruiz... Oh, okay. So Mr. Ruiz is now outside the yacht throwing grenades at the shark. The CEO of the Apex guy takes his backpack full of grenades and just throws the whole thing in. But the explosions are really close to the submarine that Ben's in, and it's knocking the submarine around and stuff. The shark is still ramming into the yacht. But at this point, people are jumping off of it, even though, the shark is in there. And this is where I wrote, Apex CEO is stealing a sick jet ski, but then I never saw that scene that you posted the GIF of. So I was I must have just missed it or something.
It's so good. It's the best.
But essentially what happens is that he steals a jet ski, and he's trying to jet ski away, and he literally just jet skis directly into the shark's mouth.
That's how I want to go.
Amazing. Yeah. I mean, so, oh yeah, this is where Ruiz like runs up to his wife or girlfriend or whoever, takes the life jacket off of her neck, like steals it from her, puts it on himself, and then jumps in the water and like leaves her high and dry. I was like, okay.
He does it so slowly and calmly too. And she's just like, what are you doing?
Crazy.
Perfect.
Then the shark comes up and swallows a life raft full of people in one gulp. It's like one of those huge, like, circular blow-up ones that could fit, I don't know, 10 people. And it just is like, all gone. Hilarious. The CG is just chef's kiss.
It's pretty great.
Well, they just like superimpose the raft over stock footage of a great white for any who haven't
like,
seen.
Just right.
It's just,
like
you
literally,
can.
yes.
There's just go ahead.
If you're a coward and don't want to watch all 94 minutes of it,
Stop listening.
There's
now.
a compilation. There's a compilation on YouTube. You can just watch the best scenes.
I honestly feel like if I'm ever sad, I will just look up that compilation to watch to brighten my day.
Like, I could.
Very good.
We talk periodically on here about like just terrible CGI, which most of these movies have, but there's like a difference where like the terrible CGI and something like this just rules, because like it just adds to kind of like the charm of these like shitty shark movies. But like, I don't know, like I love it. I love just like really bad CGI in a stupid shark movie.
Well, because it's different too, because like most of the ones we do, I feel like are like it's CG. Like the whole thing that is ridiculous is CG, right? Where it's like a CG shark fighting a CG person. But this is like two things that are real that they just like CG'd together, and it just looks ridiculous. Like nothing could have prepared me for the first time when that guy got his boat swallowed whole with him. Like, I was taken aback. I was not expecting it. And it's great because it's like once it happens, they're like, you know what? This is gold. They just keep doing it and doing it and doing it, and it literally never gets old. Yeah. I could watch a whole movie. If the whole hour, 34 minutes was just the shark popping up and eating different things.
Just progressively bigger things.
Yes, like that's what I want. Start small, another shark, start with a dinghy, then move on to like a little fishing boat, and then like just keep going. Let's see how far we can go.
I mean,
the
Titanic.
Titanic.
Make that movie.
Let's do it. I was gonna say, it's one of those instances where trying to put two words together doesn't work. I was gonna say that it's like a shark bang movie because I was combining shark and mukbang, but that is a different thing. Okay, so he swallows all those people on the life raft. What's his face? Chuck ends up shooting the shark and getting the tracker, like gets him with the tracker. But then because the submarine is getting all fucked up because of the grenades, the submarine like slams into the side of the shark so that the tracker falls off immediately. And Ben is like, don't ask me what my plan is, but I have one. Wish me luck. And he's just like, okay.
Yeah, he's asleep in my lap right now. He's snoring.
That's kind of what the shark sounds like, to be honest with you. So I'm here for it. Then the shark turns around and bites into the sub, like it's a sub. And Ben's plan is that he is going to launch the torpedoes, so he does, and then turns the targeting on so that the target is the sub. So the torpedo shoots out into the water, turns around really slow, starts coming back to the sub. But Ben is able to get out of the sub and swim away far enough that when the torpedo hits, he's fine. There's like an explosion, but he's fine. Dr. Stone sees him from above, just like kind of floating in the water, really unconscious, and jumps out of the helicopter into the ocean. No, absolutely not. To save him. And Chuck is fine, by the way. He pops up on a life raft and is like, I feel like I'm undressed. And everyone's like, ha, 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 ha. So Dr. Stone finds Ben, pulls him up, and then he goes, Megala who? And then they all laugh. And it's the end.
Incredible.
Just
cinema.
Just like rubbing it in with that fucking sick burn at the end.
Cinema score A+.
The only way that this lasts 20 or so, it definitely is 20 minutes, because after Dr. Stone kills the baby Megalodon, I was like, oh, how is there still 20 minutes of this movie left? The only thing that could have made this last 20 minutes even better is if he was like, Megalo who? Ha ha ha. And then another one came out and ate them. And then jumped up in the sky and got the helicopter.
And then it exploded also.
Yeah.
What a banger. I need to rewatch it where I can actually, like, sit and sort of pay attention.
Well worth your time.
Okay. I said I really didn't like this movie, and everything up until the last 20 minutes is just, like, terrible. But, like, the last 20 minutes do make up for it, because it's like, if you don't watch the first half where they've like clearly established like what kind of movie this is, this last 20 minutes is just like insanity. It's worth it.
Yeah, I need to watch. I mean, I guess I don't need to, but I want to watch the first two. I'm sure they're not really great.
They're fun.
You know, it's hard to like fuck up a shitty shark movie.
Well,
it really is. People still do it though.
Yeah, but I say that it happens, but all right. Any news?
Monkeypox.
I did.
It's everywhere.
No. I talked about this like kind of a while ago, where Mike Flanagan was like developing that new Netflix series Midnight Club. They just dropped a trailer for it, and we do have a release date now, which is going to be October 7th, which I'm really stoked for. And then I also saw that they announced a series by Guillermo del Toro called Cabinet of Curiosity, which I don't know that I specifically had seen anything about it before either, but I did see that 2 of the episodes are going to star Peter Weller and Crispin Glover. Not together, I don't think. I think they're separate episodes, but that's exciting. And then also, I guess apparently that's like one of the shows that Dakota from Contra Zoom worked on. So I was like, that's so exciting.
Well, that's interesting.
Thought that was really cool because, yeah, I don't know. We've talked a few times about like having him have a crack at like different, like a series or something like that. And so I'm like really excited. I hope they'll be good. I need more good series to watch. I'm over movies right now.
Not me. I'm having a hard time, like, watching TV shows that are just, like, shitty reality shows, so... Like, I just...
Family TV worth watching.
I just, like, I can't, like... Because I used to watch all kinds of just, like, those, just 13-episode fucking... dramas and whatever, and now I'm just like, I don't know. I'm like, I haven't watched the last like 3 or 4 seasons of Bob's Burgers. Like, a bunch of shit I used to watch. I'm just like I don't know, I can't deal with this. I'm just gonna watch movies and 90 Day Fiance.
I have to say the last season of Bob's Burgers did not really do it for me, but this newer season I find funny again. So I don't know if it's just like because of other stuff that's going on, it just makes some things like less enjoyable seeming or something. I don't know, but I've been having a hard time like finding stuff that I like am super into.
I just want to watch weird movies. That's it. I think the only news story I've seen, because it's impossible to fucking escape even if your phone doesn't work, is that Nev Campbell is apparently not going to be in the next Scream, and everybody's like, this is garbage, I'm not watching it. But like, they just
good for her.
Yeah, stop
honestly.
watching it. Maybe they'll stop fucking making them.
Yeah, I don't feel like. Yeah, I agree.
All right, what everybody watch this week? I got nothing. The only stuff I watched was stuff for Junesploitation, and I think I'm gonna do bonus episodes talking about those, like, sort of more in depth. So, what'd you watch, Kit?
Rogue, the killer crocodile movie.
Oh, okay.
Pretty good. Like based on Gustav, the enormous, like 60 or 70-year-old crocodile that killed people in Africa forever. Allegedly has killed like 300 people.
Damn.
Pretty good.
How does it line up to stuff like, I don't know, like Crawl or something like that?
I don't think it's quite as fun as Crawl, but I mean, it's definitely one of those very light, speedy, fun creature features.
Yeah.
I think it's worth watching. It's on Tubi.
Of course it is.
Yeah. I've been wanting to watch it forever, and I saw it on there. I was like, oh, fuck yeah, done.
Irene, Caitlin went and hung out with Irene this week, so she gave Caitlin, like, my birthday presents.
Yeah.
Which was one of those pillows where you, like, rub your hand on it and it, like, exposes a picture of Nick Cage. But,
hell yeah.
And then got,
so
like, I'm guessing, like, 3 random, like, you know, dollar store type store DVDs, and it was Crawl, Boar, which I've not seen Boar, so
Boar's pretty fun.
yeah, I remember you saying it was at least worth, like, watching. And then what I can only assume is an Asylum movie called Ape versus Monster or something like that.
Oh,
I'm in.
the Godzilla versus Kong knockoff.
Yeah, Ape versus Monster.
Yeah.
It looks not great, but I'm gonna watch the shit out of it. It's got Eric Roberts, so I know it's not good. Do you have anything else, Kit?
I think that was it.
What about you, Katie?
The only thing I watched was I finally watched Halloween 3.
Hell yeah.
It was a first time watch for me because up until recently it like wasn't streaming on anything, and I absolutely love the idea behind the movie, and like I feel like there's so many iconic imagery behind it, you know, like the 3 kids with the masks on it, and I think I had built it up so much in my mind that like when I watched it I was like, this is fine, like this is okay. So I think the only other thing I watched like the first half of the new season of Stranger Things. And then we are almost done with Gotham. We have like 3 episodes left, so we'll definitely finish that tonight. And the only thing that I'll say so far is like I know that the show was canceled, so it's probably not going to have an ending. Season 5 is the last season, and it's only half a season, and it is so bad. It is so bad. Not like I feel like the rest of the show was necessarily good, but it's like watchable, obviously, right? Because we've watched 4 seasons of it, but season 5 is just like absolute trash. And honestly, I think it was like one of those things where they got canceled and somebody else picked it up, and then they were like, I feel like they just shouldn't have picked it up. But yeah, I think that's it.
How did they handle? I know because I've seen pictures of it. The guy of like the Joker, but like he had his like face cut off or whatever.
So this is what happened. Again, if for some reason you want to watch Gotham and you haven't watched it and you don't want spoilers. So basically what happens is that they introduce the character Jerome in, I don't know, like season 2, maybe? He ends up getting killed. And then there's like this whole backstory throughout the show with Hugo Strange where he can like bring people back to life, right? That's like one of the huge, like, or not bring people back to life, but like, yeah, bring people back to life and like do experiments on them to like make them mutants or whatever. That's like a huge like plot of the entire show. So basically like Jerome gets like killed, and then somebody, he's already got like fanatics in the town or whatever. So basically what happens is that they steal his body. Somebody has this like thing that you can bring people back to life, and so they try to, it's the guy who plays Polka Dot Man, actually. He tries to bring Jerome back to life, but like it doesn't really work, and all of the other followers are like, where's Jerome, and they're like gonna have this thing. So Polka Dot Man guy cuts off Jerome's face and wears it to like the town hall meeting of like all the crazy fanatics, and then it's like, it's me, Jerome, and they're like, no, that's not you. And so essentially the operation ends up working like later, and so Jerome wakes up without a face, and then he goes and gets his face back and puts it on and staples it on, and then like it grafts to him.
Weird.
And so it's like very strange. And then, do you want to know what the rest of it?
No,
what
I just wondered if they like handled it like how it was, you know, because that's the only thing I saw from like the last, you know, couple seasons I'd seen from it. And I was like, oh, that's interesting that they're doing like that thing from the comics.
It takes a really weird turn. They also do a lot of really, maybe we'll do a bonus episode or something, because it would take a long time for me to explain. They just do so many weird things where they like picked very small specific things that are like actual Batman canon and then just like insert it. And I don't know if it was like just supposed to be like Easter eggs. Like if you're familiar with it, you'll know what it is, but like very weird decisions in the last 2 seasons.
Yeah,
so
it was a weird show.
It's, yeah.
All right, shout outs. Katie.
Uh-oh.
All right, Kit.
Also, uh-oh.
All right, well, mine is one of the movies I watched for Junesploitation called Sex and Zen, which is a Hong Kong Category 3 movie about a guy who has a very tiny dick who gets a horse dick implanted instead, and it is very wild. It's like a comedy that's surprisingly very funny, and I was very into it.
Wow.
It rules. It's the fucking, like, Hong Kong in like the late 80s, early 90s just has the fucking strangest movies, and I'm here for it. I don't think it's streaming anywhere. I just kind of blind bought a Blu-ray of it, and it slaps. High recommend. Alright, now it's your turns.
Alright. Shout out to the new Prey trailer, which looks insanely fucking sick. Cannot wait.
Oh, yeah, I saw they're gonna like release a cut all like
entirely in Comanche.
I couldn't remember if it was gonna be dubbed or if it's
amazing.
Like, I'm in. I mean, I'll watch it. It's gonna be on Hulu, so I'll watch it. You know.
Yeah. August 5th, let's rock. Hooch is excited.
Aww.
Right, Hooch? Hooch doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, Hooch is asleep.
He doesn't share any of my enthusiasm. Bum.
Hooch is only here for Sonic, and that's it. Just hedgehogs.
Yep. Yep.
Hedgehog.
Hedgehogs
Hedgehog.
only.
All right, what about you, Katie?
My shout out is the cavity color shirt of Bob from House by the Cemetery, where he's holding the little Curious George doll, and it looks just
What a king.
incredible.
Bob is the coolest character, Eddie, of all time. All right, Katie, what are we doing next week?
Oh, what did we decide it? What did we decide it was called on Tubi?
Sharkman.
Oh, that's right. Is that what we're doing?
Sharkman / Hammerhead Shark Frenzy.
Yeah.
All right.
I've seen this movie one time, like maybe 7 years ago, and it is one of those like standout movies that I just stumbled upon, and we were like bored, and we were like, let's just put something on. And I think it was called Hammerhead Shark Frenzy whenever I put it on, and I was just like, this has stood out to me as like one of the best, worst movies I've ever seen in my life. So I'm really hoping that it holds up.
It's up there with Mansquito for me. I've made Layla watch it within the last year. It holds up.
Okay. All right, good. I'm very excited.
I think I watched this. I can't remember, but I guess I'm gonna find out.
Yeah.
Like I feel like
Our
it's
man
one of those
Jeffrey
things
Combs.
that like early on, like I remember Kit talking about, and I think I watched it. But is this one has Jeffrey Combs, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I've definitely watched it. I'm in. Hell yeah. All right. If you'd like to support this nonsense we do and get to hear bonus episodes where I get mad about Shakespeare, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/IHopeYouSufferPodcast. Katie and I are going to skip this month for the Demons episodes, and I think we're gonna do a couple episodes on like just shit I've been watching for Junesploitation. So you can subscribe to that. I think there's a lot of bonus episodes on there now. There's like 21 regular ones, not counting like the extra shit we've done. So
Dang, yeah. We did like specifically like a Spider-Man No Way Home / other like MCU stuff, and then we did one on the Batman.
there's a bunch of
There's
Demons
like
episodes.
a Christmas movie
You can
one.
listen to us get mad
There's
about
Demons.
Amityville.
Oh, wow. I totally forgot about the Amityville ones. I like how we were like, yeah, we'll do one more, and then we just never talked about it again.
We talk about it because it's the first Demons episode where I was like, I watched 2 of them, and I was just like, fuck this. We're not doing this. This is trash.
And then you were probably like, hey, let's not. And then I was like, absolutely on board.
It's because I watched...
not watch
I
anymore.
think I watched Amityville in the Hood, which was just like 80 minutes of a 90-minute movie. It's just footage of graffiti in Los Angeles or some shit. Fucking trash franchise.
Checks out.
You can get merch at our store for a tier shop, or apparently on Amazon. If you want a bootleg fucking pink I Hope You Suffer hoodie.
What?
Hell yeah.
What a
Sick.
I don't know if I said it to Kid or not because I didn't have my phone turned on yet, but I was like, I was trying to find a decent image of our Void shirt that I was gonna make my phone background, so I just searched I Hope You Suffer podcast, and one of the first page results was an Amazon link to a pink hoodie with the Tales from the Crypt logo on it that somebody just like stole.
Like
that rocks.
Okay, I'm
hell yeah.
like this isn't the first time that that our stuff has been like stolen and put on websites, right? But this one to me is so weird because it literally has our faces on it. It's if you haven't seen it somehow, it's like our very first. Was it the very first bonus episode we did? Was like
I
Tales
think it was
from
the
Crypt?
first one that since you were on it, because Kit and I had done Chairman of the Board and Kazam, and I think something else.
Yeah. So I made a logo where it's like the Crypt Keeper. It's like literally the outline of the regular I Hope You Suffer logo, but the eye, like the hand with the knife, it says I Hope You Suffer in like a Tales from the Crypt font, and it has the Crypt Keeper. And then in each of the letters, it's our literal faces. And so the only place that logo is not on merchandise anywhere else. The only way you can have that is if you like took it from our Instagram or from our Patreon.
I think it's on
and
Bandcamp.
So that's why. Okay, and so that's why to me, I was like shocked that was the thing that was taken because it's like the least advertised like thing that logo. But then I'm like, okay, it makes sense because it's a name drop thing, right? It's like Tales from the Crypt, and so like whatever bot like took it. Just was like, oh, Tales from the Crypt, cool. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, I don't know, it just was like really wacky to me.
Yeah, but
it's in case you,
it's like straight up just says, I Hope You Suffer podcast, like shirt or fucking whatever in the description.
Yeah, so like.
The internet's the worst.
Yeah, I have to email them. So I was like shocked that it was on Amazon because I would hope that their shit is like vetted better.
No.
They also make it almost impossible to like report or take stuff down. So I have to like email them to be like, hi, they don't have, like they cannot do this.
Amazon will be like okay, weird. And they just block you somehow for ever being at Amazon.
I'm just gonna leave it up.
Right. I mean, whatever. Fine.
There's no
I doubt anyone's like ordered it, but I'm just like,
I want to know
fuck?
if somehow you've ordered that and you're listening to this, please tell me, because I'm just baffled that anybody would go to Amazon to A, look for our shit, and B, buy a fucking generic hoodie from it.
I'm kind of like curious what the like.
What order one?
I don't actually want to. I don't actually want to give the people money, but I am really curious because it's like very obviously like print on demand, right? Run through Amazon, but I'm just like, also such a weird choice to have it be a pink hoodie, and like the other colors of the hoodie are like pretty weird too. I don't know.
It's just like
I've never ordered a.
It's the same shit that like it happens on like Redbubble all the time, where it's never like regular fucking colors. It's just like,
yeah,
you know, like it's a whatever hoodie or
bright
design,
yellow,
and it's just like the worst color fucking pick for like the, because like the like you said, like the image that pops up, it's like a pink hoodie, but like the logo's like orange a little bit, because it's got like the.
Well, I did different colors behind us.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
like
very
but...
weird. It's a very strange decision.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway,
no one even had to say I want this shirt or whatever happened last time.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so I guess if you want that, go to Amazon. You can rate us on Spotify, and you should. And you should leave us a rating and review on iTunes. Tell us what you would do if you were wired and took us home. I hope it's watch I Love Lucy. We're gonna, no one ever fucking says this except for the one person that talked about mac and cheese in their review, but I feel like this is the one that people are gonna leave us fucking weird. A weird review.
What a hero.
You can follow us on Instagram at I Hope You Suffer Podcast. Follow Kit at Hidden Kitstery on stuff, and Kitrification of Blood, I think, on stuff.
Yeah, on other stuff.
You know, LinkedIn.
I'll leave it to you to guess.
Yeah, go to LinkedIn, find Kit.
Yeah.
Follow Katie at Werewolf
Offer me a
Face,
job.
and
Pays a shitload of money.
join Katie's Patreon at patreon.com/werewolfface. And you listen to my other podcast named Kate Movie Club. Get ready for a movie with like 6 different titles next week.
Yeah, can't wait. Good luck finding it.
Hammerhead Sharkman Frenzy or some shit, something like that.
Hammer time.
Hammer,
Yeah.
Shark,
Bird.
Man,
We're
Frenzy.
only talking about
Sharkbird.
the MC Hammer Addams Family song for an hour and a half next week.
Yes.
Deal.
Yes. Kit, I want you to know that I have ever since you said the word Spiderberg to me, I've been naming any game
Everything's
that
a
I play
bird,
where I
right?
have, like an island or whatever. Like I named my farm in Stardew Valley Spiderberg. I named my Animal Crossing island Spiderberg. I've just been, and everyone's always like, "What is that?" And I'm like, I don't even like spiders.
Just say,
to be
"Don't
honest with
fucking
you,"
worry
but
about
I've
it.
just been using it.
Yeah. I hope
Mind
they
your
all
own business,
thrive.
okay? Thank you.
I hope Spiderberg is a utopia, wherever it is.
So far, so good. My Stardew Valley one, I got dinosaurs, so you know.
Oh, sick.
I want
Yeah,
a dinosaur.
pretty cool.
Why are you
They're
hogging
so
all the
cute.
dinosaurs?
Well, I also have black chickens, and they are very cute, and blue chickens. I have all kinds of animals, to be honest, but those are like the coveted ones.
All right.
Anyway,
I hope you Megalodon, but bigger Megalodon. I hope you swallow a jet ski, but why?
I hope you're really wired.
no.
Let us know if you think you could eat a jet ski.
I didn't think you were going to say jet ski.
I didn't either.
I just